The graves of dozens of Australian soldiers are feared damaged or destroyed by the Israel-Gaza war. Recent satellite imagery shows destruction at the Gaza War Cemetery, where thousands of fallen Allied soldiers from the First and Second World Wars were laid to rest. Greens Senator David Shoebridge wants the government to lodge concerns with Israel, and he joins us now from Sydney. Senator, good morning.
Morning, Lisa.
Can you just tell me a little bit about this cemetery, where it is and what the imagery is that you have?
So this is a Commonwealth war grave cemetery. It contains thousands of war graves, about 3,000 war graves from the broader Commonwealth, from the UK primarily, but also about 260 Australian war graves. Many of the majority of the graves are from World War I. There was a lot of activity in World War I in the area. In fact, a lot of those graves are Australian light horse graves of the 260. And for over a century, it's been cared for by the Palestinian community there for the last few decades by one ongoing Palestinian family. It's very much sacred ground for Australians and many people in the Commonwealth. We had heard reports that it had been badly damaged by Israeli airstrikes and Israeli military activity. We put those concerns to the Department of Veteran Affairs in budget estimates recently, and they said they'd made no inquiries and they didn't know anything about it. So then we started doing the ground research ourselves. We obtained the 3 satellite images from before the invasion, the middle of the invasion, at the end, and the level of destruction is genuinely horrifying. And these are war graves, you know, the bodies of Australian soldiers. This is meant to be sacred land, and it is quite disturbing.
What is, when you say that the damage, give us a sense of it, what's the imagery? And I feel like we need to say as well, there is such a human cost that is occurring in this war that's going on, and by discussing graves we're not diminishing that at all, and we understand so much about that. This though is something separate that you have wanted to follow up and understand what was happening.
Well, I think when you look at the images of the destruction on the gravesite, one of the reasons we produce these images is so that people would zoom out and have a look at what's happened to the surrounding lands. To the east of the graves used to be stretches of olive groves and agricultural land, now utterly destroyed and replaced just by tank tracks. If you look north, south or west of it, thousands and thousands of homes, solar panels, utter destruction of the surrounding neighbourhood of the Palestinian community. And so, yes, we should be horrified by the damage to Australian war graves, and the Australian government should make complaints about it. But we should be far more horrified by the damage we see to thousands and thousands of homes, entire Palestinian neighbourhoods utterly destroyed.
When you say that you want the government to make representations, what would that achieve, and in what form would it occur?
Well, the first thing the government should have done when they first were notified of potential damage is they should have objected. They knew in March. We have images from March and then images again from July. And if the Australian government had objected and raised concerns about the damage to war graves, maybe the further damage that is evidence from those later images wouldn't have happened. But also, Israel is damaging these grave sites because it feels like it can act with impunity, even in this regard, in the graves, quite sacred ground of what is meant to be its friends in the community. This sense of impunity needs to be challenged. And perhaps if Australia and the United Kingdom and other countries had challenged this kind of impunity, it may have been a pushback against the impunity that Israel thinks it has to inflict the level of damage on the surrounding Palestinian community and the tens of thousands of lives that have been lost.